Sadly, I think we're gonna have to wait a few more days for the AMD launch. I guess they're gonna be launching during ECube
Yeah,
in 2 weeks
E3.
from
Yeah,
now.
yeah. That's it.
I think that makes sense. If they didn't announce it here today, that means they're gonna announce that for ECube.
Yeah, Tuesday there's the press conference from AMD, so I think we'll just go there and
We will
see what they have to say, and if they have nothing to say, then well, we will have to wait. Zen1, you are following Computex a little bit. What do you think? What do you expect from this year's show and launches?
I've been working on my studies, so I haven't been able to keep up with a lot of this. But the new hardware looks pretty neat. It's going to take me a little while to catch up on a lot of this new stuff.
Yeah, I guess I've seen. I was just googling this morning just for the GTX 980 Ti to see what was up, and there was already like more than 5 or 6 pages on Google of like top websites having reviews and things like that. So yes, gonna pretty intense.
That's the first thing I did this morning when I woke up.
Yeah,
I just went to
and that's actually without counting the leaks that had been done a bit earlier. So this ASRock leaked a bit of future platform stuff. So that would be.
Actually, we can talk about it because everything is on.
Yeah,
is
I
live.
mean, it's all public now.
So what happened is, I think that was yesterday or 2 days ago. ASRock, one of the manufacturers of the mainboards based here in Taipei, they leaked pictures and informations about the next generation's platform from Intel. So
right now it's Z97.
So right now the platform you can buy on the market is Z97 motherboard. So that's like the mainstream one that pretty much like most of you guys gamers have at home or in your computers right now. Then you have the top high-end one that is like X99 with DDR4, like all the new big CPUs, like big RAM kit and so forth. But there should be a new platform coming after that, like by the end of the year, and that's the Z170 chipset. So they continue pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same as the Z97 in terms of features, but just support the next gen CPUs. So yeah, there was some leaks going on, so we were like, oh, but nothing was supposed to be announced for that. So
well, it's just what happened is ASRock wanted to grab all the SEO before everybody else. There had been already leaks earlier 2 weeks ago from
Colorful from China.
Yeah, and there was that Chinese website that had leaked the whole lineup of the Asus motherboards that were coming up as well. So I mean, like the reference of the chipset was nothing new, but the fact that now there's pictures of boards and actually a few more details about specs, well. That's also something that is new. That kind of kick-started Computex before Computex started.
Yeah,
it's always a race to who gets the most talking about his brand.
Who is first to announce something? And actually, like this morning, we received a lot of press release from like all the partners, like, oh yeah, we have this 980 Ti thing. Oh yeah, we have this 980 Ti thing. Okay, so yeah, there's like 15 brands launching the graphics card and so on.
So what other press conferences are you going to attend to? Besides that AMD one?
To be honest, I didn't plan so much for this with Computex.
Yep.
I wanted to do like more like a freelance thing. So if you guys on watching the show right now want to know some special things going on here, can just input that in the live chat, and we'll maybe just pass by one of the booths that might interest you and just see how that goes.
Yeah.
And pretty much the next one, I want to go to see the European Hardware Association Awards.
Okay. So that's the thing by hardware.info, right?
So that's hardware.info, Cocotland, Hardware Lux. So that's basically like the biggest websites in Europe, like hardware website. They do reviews and testing and so on. They gather together, create an associations, and they do award on the best hardware, like what is the best PSU, what is the best CPU, what is the surprise of the year, stuff like this. So we know that stuff exists like for movies.
Yeah.
For movies, that stuff exists for games.
Usually it's usually those awards are kind of organized by either the industry itself or like an organization that's really closely related to the industry. Not that much press.
That's right? For me, I like to see that it's like independent body doing it.
So we'll see how independent it is.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. But for Computex, like every time they want to start the show, they have the ID and not IDNT. IDNT is for like the festivals, but the ID Computex awards. So the Computex give awards to this is the best design, or this is the best like NAS solution and so on.
Yeah, sometimes it seems a little bit pulled by the.
it's sometimes a bit too much oriented by the manufacturers itself.
Yeah, you can see some brands actually pay for getting those awards. It's like almost...
Well, I can't say I don't have proof for that, but I do think that
seems like
there's
it's fishy.
it seems that you need to send some special stuff in before register for it. Well, anyway,
I don't know.
I can't wait to see like the European Hardware Awards. That's gonna be in 2 days from now. Pretty much the other press conference, I won't go to check the Asus one because they won't announce anything new, I think.
The Asus one is mainly laptops, tablets, phones.
Yeah, I do expect that to be lifestyle, not
sensation. So I think
they would maybe show, oh, this is the new 980 Ti we have, and that's it.
Yeah, even that, I think it would even be out of context for this press conference because it's not really the same division. So.
We will see. I'm not planning to go to any Intel conference because they don't announce anything special. Otherwise, no, I would prefer spending more time on the show floor, trying to go reach to the guys. There are gonna be a lot of overclocking this year too. I know there's gonna be overclocking at Galax. There's gonna be overclocking at a lot of the booth. But most importantly, there's gonna be a huge overclocking event by the end of the week.
Yeah, there's gonna be like two majors overclocking events this week. So all the manufacturers are of course having the booth and doing some overclocking and things, but what we are usually interested in is when actually there's competitions or when there's some live something to watch and actually there's people proving themselves live in front of each other, and that's really where it gets interesting. And, so the two live ones, there's the G-Skill OC World Cup, which is hosted by G-Skill. So this one is mainly focused for G-Skill. This is a way to promote the memory, but they had qualifiers online, and so 6 guys qualified for this World Cup final, and they're going to have so like a final qualifiers there, and then the final on stage. It's going to be a 1 versus 1 kind of elimination thing, but they're basically all together in the same competition. So it's an interesting format. They do it already for the 2nd year, the World Cup. They had it already last year. With a similar price, and I think the winner gets $10,000 in cash if you win. So it's actually not badly priced competition. Like most of the top guys I talk to, they're going there because the cash prize.
Because of the cash prize,
is actually a motivation. And this year they made it very cheap for people to enter the qualifications by using very cheap CPUs. So I mean, like really, like it was like some maybe $60 or $70 entry chips from Intel
chip
that were locked. So actually, overclocking was very limited. It was all based on tweaking. So yeah, so that's it. So we're going to check this out, see how it goes. It's going to be the whole week. They have different rounds every day, different time slots. So yeah, and so Truth, before we actually go into more details of that, you will be busy, right, with that stuff.
I will be busy covering the like all the few things you're gonna have at Computex, but most importantly, I'll be busy preparing for this weekend.
All right.
We're gonna have 3 days of live stream from the HWBot HWBot World Tour. So that's the special overclocking event that is organized by HWBot and a lot of different partners. I think there's going to be Asus, Cypress, and Seasonic mainly. That's going to be like 3 days of overclocking. So that's going to be Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
So there's two competitions on that one.
Wow. There's actually 3 events in the same event. There's the overclocking gathering. So overclockers can just get there, have LN2, have some food, and bench whatever they want. So they can bring one of the motherboard they're going to get from one of the partners or they own, and they can bench whatever they want. And the second one is the World Series, the HWBot World Series. So like we did a month ago and 2 months ago at exactly the same time, was the HWBot World Series 3 stages, and this will be having some cash prize for the first time. So there's going to be some cash prize for this. And there's also going to be the ROG OC Showdown. And this is a special thing by Asus, Seasonic, and HyperX. And they want to break as many world records they want.
Right? So there's not just records. There's some global first places, some hardware first places. So there's a little bit of everything, and every one of them has different value in price, of course. So you go for the ones you can achieve, or the ones that pay the most. It's it's your choice. Zen1, are you following those competitions and things the different vendors organize on Computex? I mean, like for example, the G-Skill competition. Are you following those competitions, like when they had the qualifiers online, or is that something very remote to you? Or
It's fairly remote, though. With my, it's fairly remote. I'd love to go and visit it one day, but you know, it's
yeah. Yeah, it's for sure. If you cannot attend, and actually, is there any stream for the G-Skill thing? Is there a way to follow the comp, or is it mainly through
if
the
you want
OC
to
Esports?
yeah, if you want to follow
scores?
the G-Skill competitions, you have to go to ocesport.io, and there's gonna be like the scoreboard there.
Yeah.
So they're gonna update the score as the score's coming. There won't be any live stream.
Okay.
Sadly, I think it's over because
So it will
of the
be mainly
restriction of the show.
pictures after, and maybe some videos.
You will for sure see some pictures and some video afterwards, but there will not be any live stream.
Yeah.
But the scores, you can check them live on oc-esport.io, the website dedicated to all the overclocking competitions. And
yeah, I'd love to see the final data. I'd really like to. Yeah. One day I want to be there and experience it myself, though.
Yeah. That's always quite impressive, especially at Computex, where you have all the people walking around and passing by. It's really actually it's more an OC. Those G-Skill things they do on the booth. It's really for the show more than for the rest. It's really to show off, you know. And when you're on the Computex, there's I think there's two or three floors of booths. So you really have to grab the people's attention when they pass by in front of your stuff, because if not, they're gone. They're not coming back, you know. It's already gonna take them 2 days to do the whole thing, so they're not gonna pass by again if it's not interesting. So if they saw you on the first passage, they're gonna come back again.
Yeah, especially they usually place the booth right at the entrance, so you ensure that's the first thing you see.
And with an army of booth babes to attract as many people as possible. So that's kind of how it works at Computex, right? It's like
True.
It's a little bit sexist and sad, but I think that's sadly how the things work here.
Well, still, it's not as bad as the like the car show yet. So.
Yeah. So you mentioned the competitions at the World Tour. So any live stream for that?
There's gonna be live stream for 3 days. Actually, there will be 12 hours of live stream every day. So starting Saturday until Monday, we will be streaming pretty much everything live. I'm actually like taking care of all that from the OverClocking-TV side.
Good luck with that. Don't worry, guys. We're gonna have a better streaming rig.
Yeah, dedicated one, special one. And that's why actually my week gonna be quite busy. That I have to prepare like all these to make sure that everything is working fine for you guys. We will have a lot of giveaway although on the stream. So you will be able to follow each of the events that will be happening at the HWBot World Tour 2015 Asia. And you will also be able to win some t-shirt, cap. I think we can do giveaway like pretty much every 30 minutes.
Yeah,
we have a lot of stuff to give away. So don't forget, guys, if you want to watch this, you can subscribe to our Twitch channel, and you can also find us on YouTube and Twitter. But if you want to have the best information, just go to Twitch and follow us there and get the small on for the on-stream notification.
Yeah.
So that would be perfect for you guys. We're gonna start June 6th, so that's Saturday at 10 a.m. local time here. Don't forget, guys, for the US, so Eastern time, that's gonna be Friday evening. So if you wanna tune in, you should tune in Friday evening around like 10 p.m. for Eastern if you live in New York, Miami, and stuff like this. And if you live in the other side, that's gonna be pretty much like I think 7 p.m. So that's gonna be prime time for you guys. So yeah, it starts Saturday here, but for you guys in the US, start on Friday evening.
Yeah, Sean, are you looking at those gatherings, events, kind of thing? And would you like even if you're gonna walk around Sapphire or all those small brands that usually do also custom cards, they're gonna have their cards on the booth. At least if they're not working right now, they're gonna be demo models to take pictures and things like that. So you're gonna have reference card a lot, and
the reference card is the one you can actually see on the screen. That's gonna be the same design as the Titan X. Instead of having like a black color, that's gonna be aluminum colored. But in the end, honestly, don't spend money on the Titan X. Just go buy the 580 Ti because you have like $350 US difference in between and like 3% in performances. Sure, you take that one, you overclock again, that's fine.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I'm pretty sure that most of the overclockers came to Computex because they knew that stuff going to be launched and they want to test it. So I'm sure we're going to see that this weekend for the HW World Tour. So I'm pretty sure that some people will get their hand on it.
Well, I'm sure there's going to be reference cards. I don't know if there's going to be streaks or anything.
I don't think there'll be any special card yet because that need time to develop.
I don't know how ready they are yet. That's what we're going to actually find out this Computex. It's like how ready the companies are with their custom cards. So from the reviews you've read, what is kind of the conclusion? Is it a must buy? Is it the new awesome thing? Is it the new thing that everyone should get?
I won't say that everyone should get it because it's still quite expensive.
Yeah, for sure.
If you think about
it's
that,
going to be expensive for the next 6 months.
Like 650 USD is like I won't recommend anyone to jump on it yet, except that you want an NVIDIA card. We still have to wait for AMD to announce what they're gonna have. So the so-called MEGA, so the 390X. But maybe we can wait 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. We don't know. The availability of the 980 is supposed to be now. So if you go online, they say it's a hard launch. So hard launch means you can have hardware on the first day. Compared to paper.
So if you go to Newegg, actually, you could.
I don't know. I haven't checked Newegg, so maybe if I can. You know what?
You can always open Newegg. At the same time, I'm just gonna ask Sean, what have you followed the launch of the 980 Ti? Like all the fun and fuss and hype about it. What do you think?
Well, I haven't followed all of it, but I've taken a look at it, and I believe, it's just remarkable to see where this is going to go with the new 4K displays and the virtual reality and augmented reality. It needs that kind of horsepower. I'm a little concerned about the power delivery. I don't know how much, the amount of performance that they're promising. I don't know. I have to see the numbers. Again, I'm a numbers guy, so
for you, it's going to be how efficient that card is with power as well, right? What is it doing with all those watts?
I was looking at the Newegg page and stuff, and I just
I didn't find the Ti on the Newegg.
It's not there. All right, well that's a fail
somewhere.
So that's not the real.
Maybe you can buy it somewhere. Maybe you can buy it just on the GTX on the Nvidia side.
Nvidia, I don't know.
Well, we'll see. It might be somewhere. Maybe actually you might be at the end of Computex. Usually when everyone is closing down the booth, usually you can buy stuff.
I'm not quite sure you can buy this stuff.
You never know. You can maybe.
Could you guys send one down here?
I think that's some people.
Hey, there's already demand, right? So.
Yeah, I think some people watching. Can you send me one? Yeah, sure, right. Yeah, right.
If I get one, I keep it for myself. Yeah. So okay. So we're gonna see how that goes.
I do expect a lot of scores to be broken because that should be easier to modify for the VRM side. So. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like for sure, this week you're gonna see all over the. Actually, I think that's gonna be the main attraction. If it's not the G-Skill event or the OC the World Tour event, it's gonna be mainly overclocking of graphics cards on the manufacturer's booth because if they break a record or even they achieve global first places or different just record top scores, it's gonna be for the brands, even if their motherboards are not very soon enough life, but they're starting to be 1 year old for most of the boards. So it's gonna be like it's gonna be a little more extra marketing push to those old motherboards that are starting to be in a need for a refresh. So it's gonna be a good extra 6 months breath or whatever until those new CPUs are here.
That's true. Actually, we were talking about like desktop CPUs.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about like the special ARM CPUs and Raspberry Pi.
Let's move on to the crispy bit.
If you guys join us right now on Twitch, this is the OC Show. This is a bi-weekly show we do with Timothée and myself, and sometimes we have some guests. Like today we have Zen1 with us. Hi. This is a show about hardware, computer hardware, and like overclocking, so pushing the hardware you have to the limits, increasing the performances and so on.
That's right.
Raspberry Pi with LM2. So if you guys don't know, what is the Raspberry Pi first?
Yeah, well, the Raspberry Pi, so it's a small device. It's basically part of this trend of development board, exactly like the one you have, or we also
Or
have
the one we
ours
have
here.
here.
And yeah, those small boards, dev boards, yeah, you have multiple of them. There's different formats. You have different names. You also have the Arduinos, you have the Odroids, you have so
The
different companies,
yeah,
different.
there's a lot of development.
Most of them, the point is of those boards is to either teach people how to code or how the computer works, so that people learn, the basics of computers things without having to use a huge motherboard and all the connectors, and this is very to the very basics. It's basically what people used to do many years ago. But when I was studying computing, we had a small dev boards with 8-bit chips on it, or 16 bits, where you sometimes had to code either in C or even sometimes ASM to debug that thing. And that was how you were learning how the things were working. And this is exactly the purpose of those cards. And what is actually fun is that you also have Wi-Fi, you have HDMI. So basically, this can be just your home created.
It can be like a computer by itself. Usually it run a Linux distribution or Android. That stuff costs $25.
Yeah, the Raspberry Pis are really cheap, right?
Raspberry Pi is very, very cheap. Yeah. And it's powerful enough to just to read a movie and stuff like this. So, but what we want and what is more interesting for us today is when you take this, you modify it, and you make it go faster.
Yeah, right. So with us, we have a Zen 1, also known as shown in the real life. I like to spin it in the reverse. So before we go much deeper, can you introduce yourself to the audience? So we say that you're already studying engineering and things like that, but what are you as a person in life, and what brought you to this Raspberry Pi thing?
Well, I've always, my name is Sean, Zen1. I've always been interested in computers. I was lucky enough to grow up with a computer in my home. So the Apple II, and then, Windows 95, 98, all that other stuff. So I've always had an interest in computers. And then eventually it got to wanting to have the best computer, and then it got to not having the money, but wanting to push it a little bit further. So learned about overclocking. Let's see here, talking about why I did what I did, really, I wanted to carve out a little niche in the overclocking community, just get my ideas out there, and B, in the educational world, the Raspberry Pis are a very big thing in IT and engineering right now, and it brings a lot of interest, and so I wanted to put my own little spin on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so overclocking on Raspberry Pi. So we usually overclock PCs, so that run usually Windows. And the way it works on PCs is that you have basically your base clock or your reference clock, and then you increase that one or you increase the multiplier. Usually we just play with the multiplier, which is the easiest way to go up as high as possible. And you adjust voltages on different possible inputs, and that keeps the system stable. It heats more, LN2 on top, etc., etc. That's where basically the evolution. But how does it work, overclocking on that thing? Do you have the same thing? Is it same base clock with multipliers, or?
Well, there's some automatic scaling. There's not a traditional BIOS, so it's a little bit. It took me a little bit of research to figure out all this, and depending on the numbers you put in, it may automatically adjust some of the other numbers. But yeah,
The thing is, when we do have the real computers, we mostly go into the BIOS, like you say. So we go in the BIOS, or we have the software directly in the.
Oh, so you already have an interface.
You've got
your
the bus clock.
Yeah.
You've got the bus speed. You've got the multipliers. Everything. I believe the graphics memory has to do with since it's also shared with the actual memory, the numbers really kind of.
All right.
They have to be equals of each other.
Yeah. You have to make sense about all the settings. Actually, there's a lot of. A way to overclock, but the easiest one is to actually modify some of the settings directly inside the operating systems. So I think you were using a Linux operating system or Android?
Oh, I was using what was I using?
Ubuntu.
The other one that came with it.
Lubuntu?
The popular one. Yes. No. Raspbian. There we go.
Raspbian. Yeah. So
Raspbian
Raspbian
fork, right?
So Raspbian, for people that don't know, is the systems you can put directly on this little.
So it's a lightweight Debian version, right?
It's actually like it's a Linux system.
Yeah.
But you have everything like already configured to work on the Raspberry Pi. So then you have to change some of the settings there, I guess.
Yes. So there I was able to basically turn off the dynamic clock and everything because I found that I had stability issues when it was trying to underclock itself.
A little bit like Turbo Boost on Windows, right?
Yeah, it the actual
and of course less performant at its own level. C states.
None of the over voltage stuff was relevant to me because I actually supplied my own core voltage by modifying the board.
Right. So yeah, that's where things got a little bit more extreme, right?
So if you want to do it, you can actually install like the Raspbian on the Raspberry Pi, and you can change some of the settings. You can already overclock from there. But if you wanna go further, you want to actually modify the power delivery for it. So that's actually what you did. You solder some wires with the power delivery system from the outside to actually fit that with more power.
So is it to get more power? Is it to get more possibilities of tweaking the power?
Well, it allowed me to put whatever voltage I wanted on it. And actually, last night I sat here for 4 hours trying to beat my overclock, and I was able to figure out that, well, I was pushing a little over 2 volts on the core, and I was getting over 1.5 amps of power going into there. So that's drastically higher than what it's specified for. I think otherwise it was taking a 1/4 amp.
All right. So you're not very green anymore, right?
But no. There were a lot of other considerations that I had to take into account. As was mentioned on the preview, you were talking about the chip-on-chip design.
Yep.
Well, that was the old Raspberry Pi A+ and B+. The Raspberry Pi 2 actually moves the memory to the back of the board. And
indeed, you can actually see it.
And what I found was, the memory was getting too cold, and also the SD card was getting too cold.
Right.
So I actually ended up installing a heater on the bottom of the board.
Right? Keep on going. I like that.
Well, yeah. I had to install a heater on the bottom of the board, and I also had an extension cable for the SD card so that all that stuff could stay warm. And this little thing hanging off is just a power filter that I was putting on there, some low ESR caps and stuff. But yeah, the stock voltage is 1.2 volts. I found that it started fighting with me getting close to 2 volts.
All right.
Yeah, it wouldn't post, and it wouldn't take the current either. So it was, I don't know if there's a safety in there or what.
If there's a safety, you're going to find it and remove it.
Yep. Who put this thing here? Yeah.
So actually, that's quite insane. So you have the small board that's like $25. Then you have the extra power supply for it, and then
your extra power supply actually costs more than the board, right?
Well, when I did the original one, yeah, I was using the
e-power,
e-power unit, and the EVGA store wouldn't ship it to the US, so I to pay extra money to get it over here and stuff. But,
so it's like you have the $25 development board, and then you spend like $200 around that just to make it work faster.
Well, I spent $200 for 2 boards, and then
So talking about extreme in LN2, So you insulated your card, right? So to make sure with some liquid tape, if I think is it?
Yeah, I actually used some liquid electrical tape. Usually with my desktop computers and things, I would use Vaseline, just petroleum jelly. But this was a lot cleaner. Just handling it, it was just it was getting too messy. But it seems to have done its job.
Yeah. And what about CPU pod? Because I guess you cannot put a desktop pod on that. So did you have to do your own, or you used the old chipset pods? Or
for the CPU pot, I simply went down to the hardware store. I got some copper pipe, a little end piece. I ended up lapping the end piece so it was nice and flat. Then I actually filled this. Well, I put some steel bolts in there. Steel nuts in there just for thermal.
The mace.
Yeah.
For the mace.
Yeah, and then I just poured some molten lead in there so that I had a lot of weight at the bottom.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
And this is actually what I used, and it's all wrapped in the rubber foam insulation. But so it's got the thermal mass, and putting this on top, it gives me enough for liquid nitrogen. I found that it would cold bug when I would go below negative 100 degrees Celsius.
Yeah.
So most of my clocks were done at around negative 90 Celsius.
Yeah.
And the RAM I actually found worked best when I kept it at about 30 Celsius.
Oh, okay, right.
So I kept it nice and toasty. So.
Well, it's very cool actually. I like your pot design. It's very clever DIY.
And because it was falling off at first, I had to.
Oh, you had to make your own brackets, right?
Yep.
Just back plates and everything. Actually, you can almost open a store and start selling LN2 pods for Raspberry Pi.
LN2 pod for Raspberry Pi.
Because that's actually one of the cool things, right, of the Raspberry Pi 2. They have holes now. So you can actually mount stuff. Well, it's not designed to actually mount coolers.
That's actually on the case.
But it's actually mounting holes for coolers as well, right?
I'd love to see some custom full coverage water blocks.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe we'll find some during Computex. I'm sure that Computex you can see a lot of weird things sometimes. Sometimes you see weird iPhone cases, and sometimes you see weird coding solutions. So maybe we'll see some like a full-on water blocks for Raspberry Pi. that would actually be fun.
Yeah.
So we talked about the Raspberry Pi, but there's a lot of different other development board like this. Actually, at OverClocking-TV, we're using most of the Odroids.
We use the UX3, so that's the most powerful Odroid at the moment. I think when we bought it, that was the. No. Did you brought it?
Yeah, I brought it here.
I have many in the box over there. Don't break everything. So the Odroids, basically the difference with the Raspberry Pi, they're more expensive because they have USB 3 support, and what they have 8 cores. So they have it's the big little thing. So they have like 4 big cores and 4 smaller cores. And they come with actually a fan because those ones are heating quite a bit more. So if you compare it to the other one next to it, it's actually
a little bit bigger, but it's although more powerful.
Yeah.
We do actually some video encoding with it. So
yeah, we do some streaming stuff with it. So that's why we took the biggest.
So yeah, you have on this one you have like a full-size display port. You have a few USB 3. You have eMMC support, so that's like you don't have to put the like the SD card. You still have the SD card. You can
just no HDMI, right?
No, there's
you have to use the display
there's a micro HDMI on it. Actually, that's when it's like, oh, we put micro HDMI, but we put full-size display port.
Yeah, it's a bit weird choice, I think, but yeah, but this board, like, it has holes as well, but I think your backplate will not be able to fit because it's very different holes, different places. So there's actually no standard yet for making your holes for actual test boards, which would be great if all the test board there would be a standard format for that kind of thing, like the NUC boards from Intel, right? They're all like I think it's 10 by 10. And it would be cool. They would have a 5x5 format that would be so all the boards would be the same. And for example, UPOT would be able to fit on all the other boards as well.
That's always the trick with the development boards, because Raspberry Pi was one of the first affordable one. Yeah. And they say, okay, we want to have a very stripped down version, so they aim for this form factor. And then Odroid, actually Odroid the U3, so that's like the smaller version of this one, is pretty much the same size as the Raspberry Pi. But then they say, oh, we want to have like more I/O, like more input and output on it. So it's like, okay, so let's make it bigger, but faster.
Yeah. Guys, about the lags for today on the stream, don't worry, we are not streaming with that. We are streaming a way bigger machine, but I'm sure this will do a better job, actually. Because they would be stripped down from anything else. They would just be the streaming. All right, so what will be the next step for you, Sean? So you were fitting with it yesterday night already again. Well, what's next after that? Because I mean, you're gonna hit some limit maybe at some point. Or...
Yeah, I had a second Raspberry Pi 2 to play with, but I didn't feel like subjecting that to the same things either as a web server. But yeah, really, my plans now that I've got a little bit more attention, is to start a website, start documenting everything I'm doing. Yeah. So that others can learn from what I've done.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool, actually. Yeah.
I knowledge.
Sharing is caring.
And I want to get back into the desktop overclocking. I've had my bench rig just kind of sitting there idle for the last 6 months, and I need to get some liquid nitrogen back on it. So
yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I need to actually test the overclocking on the Odroid.
Yeah,
a little bit more.
All right, so that's really great. Yeah, you wanted to add something?
Oh, I was wondering, those Odroids, what operating system? Is that just the Android operating system? Or?
Actually, you can have you can put Android you can put Android on it, or you can put Linux. So actually, we use Ubuntu, right? Yeah. Because for us, like, we use them for remote camera streaming. Actually, if you watch the live next weekend for the HBO World Tour, we'll be actually using that for some of the remote cameras. So the cameras that are like on the overclickers.
So we use that to pipe the camera feeds through the networks, actually.
Well, it's very complicated. We could do actually a 2 hours live just explaining how we do the live streaming stuff.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Dan. That was a lot of information about like the SoC overclocking and ARM overclocking. Tim?
Move on to the next topic.
Can we game with the Raspberry Pi? Gaming. Everything is gaming.
What, nowadays. Is that a gaming Raspberry Pi? Is that what you mean?
It can't be a gaming Raspberry Pi. It's green. Yeah. It should be like red and black.
So actually, this next section has not much to do with overclocking.
For a gaming router, the router is red and black. The gaming chair, where you have them, like most of them, like
those
like
racing
Omega,
chairs, right?
The racing chairs and so on.
Yep.
Most of them are red and black.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, a chair usually expect that to be black, but
yeah. So I don't know, Sean. What do you think? Do you think it's becoming a bit like an insult kind of thing, or?
Yeah. I just I don't know. I see it kind of flooding the market, and products that don't really, I think, warrant that type of, well, not warrant, but products that don't quite meet the quality that a gamer would like. There's just too many colors, just too many everything else.
But I try to.
I've bought into the hype myself. I mean, I know my monitor and my mouse and all the other stuff, that was all gamers.
but it's fine. That's the issue. I think that if everyone is using it, the value of having a gaming product will maybe go down. If that's the only different factor that you have against all the other products, what happens if like all the chains and company based in China doing the very cheap stuff start doing gaming products? Like you have everything that from the USB cable to the iPhone case to the webcams to
my vacuum cleaner is
the vacuum cleaner. Like you want to.
It allows you to play games and it's silent at the same time. So when your mom is passing around, it's not interrupting your game.
Actually, that is actually so big that everything is gaming. That even on the Computex Twitter feed, I need to find it back. Gaming. They say that was like 20 hours ago. A lot of exhibitors seems to be focusing on gaming this year. So that's even from the people organizing the show. They say like a lot of people will be talking about gaming. Of course, that's actually 2 3 years that everything is ramping up. I'm not sure if it's a tipping point for this year. I think that's gonna last at least 2 or 3 years, and then something else gonna change. Like maybe people will have their own branding. Maybe we'll see less gaming in the names, or everyone will have it.
Or everyone will have it, and gaming will not mean anything. So they will have to come up with some extra stuff to add to it, so it makes actually a difference. Like, or you will have brands that will not use it and that will make really good quality products. So that brings me to the next thing. You know, like in overclocking, it's all about the quality of the products, the quality of the components on your cards, the quality of everything, of the build, the design of the PCBs, and so in the end, like we care about something that is very totally unrelated to whatever marketing name you could slap on it. Like for example, even what you've done with the Raspberry Pi is like it doesn't matter, if it's what you were able to achieve, just shows how good the Raspberry Pi design is actually to begin with, So I don't know. It's like, what do you think, Truth? It's like how would we react if everything was slapped overclocker and stuff? It's like. I mean, like I would be like this. I would be like, what the fuck is going on? It's like, imagine you're playing games since you're like 5 years old. Now you're like 30 or something, 35, and you're like, what's going on? What's happening to this thing I used to play that was fun, and now everything is becoming what it is. It's like, yeah, what? Just leave my hobby alone,
I think they're kind of trying to sell a lifestyle. I mean,
yeah,
everyone else is playing games, so you've got to play games too, and
you gotta have the stuff that goes with it.
You gotta have what everyone else has. I mean, in America here, we've got food that's like game fuel and things like that, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, we can't deny at all that there is a huge market around that. So there is a space to grab that market. But I will never want that market to implode or to be fed up by itself.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money to be made there. Of course, there's a lot of market there, but I'm not quite sure to the overusage of gaming.
Yeah. So do you think, for example, that gaming thing is gonna actually destroy the possible real gaming things?
I don't think that's gonna destroy it.
The real products that were really engineered for that. I mean, like, because all the other brands. So if you imagine you're someone you're really working on making the best thing possible for whatever gaming thing you want, and well, everyone is calling the thing they're doing, which is probably shit, to the same thing than you are doing, which is really good, and then you're like, fuck, like, is your quality going to be enough to be fighting against this whole mass of stuff that is called the same thing? Then
that's just, if you do the same thing and you put gaming on it, of course you're gonna have an advantage and 20% increase in the price. If you just have everyone is doing the same thing and you have a better quality, but the differentiation is not there anymore, you're gonna look for something else.
Yeah.
So that's how the industry has been working for years. So when everyone have the same mainboard, then we have this special line chip, or we have this special audio system, and then like the next iteration, like everyone have exactly the same thing again. So they need to find new stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that for the branding and the tagging things of the products, you're gonna have gamings everywhere, and then they're gonna try to find another differentiations, maybe through the overclockers, because that's gonna be a differentiation. It's gonna really do care about the quality and the capacity of the product to be like overclocked and go beyond the specifications.
So there's still a market within that thing for people that are aware of what the specs mean. Right?
I can't wait to see a gaming extreme, because extreme was always the tag that was used for overclocking product. Like they had the Maximus Extreme from Asus. They had the extreme stuff, the X power, like extreme power. Stuff like this from MSI. I think, and I will almost take a bet.
Right?
You know what? I will take a bet with
extreme,
you.
What is
after that? I don't know, Ultimate maybe, Platinum. Mm-hmm. We already had that with the PSU, like.
Well, now they're stuck at Platinum.
Bronze, silver, gold, Platinum. Maybe in 5-6 years we're gonna have Ultimate or Carbon. I don't know, maybe Carbon.
Is it better than Platinum?
Well, if the marketing says it's going to be better, that's going to be better anyway.
Talking physics, what is better?
So yeah, I will almost be ready to take a bet here.
Yeah.
Next year, I'm sure we're going to have a gaming extreme product or extreme gaming.
Oh yeah, you need to add to it, right?
So that's going to be the differentiations in the if everyone is using it, you need something else to differentiate your own product.
Yeah, there's some guys on the Twitch chat talking about washing machines, and I totally agree. You know, like my washing machine at home is shit, and I totally think if I had a gaming one, that would be bomb.
So you need a red and black washing machine to wash your gaming shirt and your gaming socks.
Exactly.
So gaming socks, can you plug them with a USB gaming cable?
You can charge them. They heat your feet in the winter and stuff.
Do they keep them cold in the hot summer here in Taipei?
Yeah, actually, even if you lose your finger because of frostbite, they have some tactile thing, and you can actually use it like to play games.
That's going way beyond what we could expect. So don't forget, guys, if you're watching this show live on Twitch, just let us know what you think about all these gaming things. Most of you guys are gamers, so that's really important for you. Although, are you being fed up by all these gaming things? Do you think it's too much, or do you think it's cool, or do you think that's going somewhere or nowhere? Just let us know that. If you're watching that on YouTube, you can just leave that in the comments. We're gonna read them actually next weekend for the HBot World Tour. We're gonna have some discussion with one, so maybe that topic will pop up, and that's gonna be after our whole Computex coverage. So we will see what is gaming and what is not gaming on the show.
Dennis says if you want a red and black washing machine, LG is doing some. I'm not paid by LG. I'm just saying.
Interesting. Do they have like backlights and so on?
Yeah. I don't know. It's not a trend in Taiwan, but it might be in the US. Yeah.
So actually, we did some. We were talking about gaming and making fun about that, but we did some, checking in the background. The gaming term, that's although applying to video games as well as poker and like games in general, is it's actually going up. It was a bit down
in the Google Trends, right?
And the Google Trends, yeah. And we look at the number of people looking on Google for like gaming term. It was like up in 2007, then it went a little bit, and it's actually going up again now. So that's interesting. If you look at the PC gaming or gaming PC, this is actually going up for the past year. Actually, the past 2 years, it's going up, and this is in the trend expectation is still going up.
Yeah, it's a slight up. It's not like a massive bump. Huh?
It's like a steady growth. It's not a huge bump at 1 year and like okay, we release like maybe Valve release something and just jump so high. Maybe if they release Half-Life 3 one day.
That might happen one day. Yeah.
So yeah, it's like gaming is a huge market, of course, but it's really important to see if you guys as gamer will care about that and will be receptive to all that.
I think in the end, it's just to learn what the specs mean, and that's it. It's like when you buy a microphone, what does it mean? All those frequency things. If you buy a mouse, what does the DPI of the sensor mean? And all that stuff. It's like, and then it doesn't matter what the product looks like or whatever. Just pick the one that you like and that has the specs you need.
And not just select from there. Yeah, you want to say something, Zenwan?
Yeah, just a personal note. Once I stopped caring about voiding warranties, I just went out and grabbed a can of paint from the hardware store. I mean, I just give these gaming products your own touch. I mean, you don't need.
True.
Find what you like and then just make it your own.
That's the cool thing with modding, right? It's like if
you
want to have it different color, just buy it white and paint it black.
Actually, I like the black and white theme.
Yeah, it goes well together, black and white.
The contrast,
it's good for modding, actually.
Very Zen inspired.
So
it's like our background and our shirts.
Oh yeah, like black and white. Oh, we're already like the next thing.
We are the next trend, guys. It's called overclocking. All right, so I think that's about it for today. Thanks for Dennis for being on the chat, and the Chemo for being here talking about washing machines with us as well. That was great. I think I'm gonna totally look into those washing machines. Thanks, Sean, for being with us and talking about your Raspberry Pi experience. That was very interesting, and looking forward to read all your writing about this, how you did it, etc. The explanation. I'm sure a lot of people on HDIBot will be interested to know how to do it, because there's actually divisions for SoC and the OC Sports side. So
you can compete with just a Raspberry Pi. So
yeah, your score might not be that great though, because the Raspberry Pi is not that powerful. But I think you have the hardware first place for it, right? So
yeah. I loved being on the show. This was great.
Yeah.
This was great. I had a lot of fun.
don't forget, guys, we are actually running a giveaway since 2 days already. And you can win some awesome prizes. You can win the motherboard, you can win the VGA, you can win a lot of stuff there. That's going to run for 2 weeks. And this is actually part of our extreme massive giveaway for the RaspberryPi World Tour. That's going to happen next week from June 6th to June 8th, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And we will be also giving away a lot of stuff on the live stream. Yeah. If you want to participate to the giveaway that is actually open, you can go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/OverClocking-TV.
Yeah, there's a button if you're on the Twitch channel to go there, so you can access that directly there. And then you have a small icon that says World Tour giveaway.
And it's very simple to enter. You can just enter and
there's a question to ask: who is your favorite overclocker? There's no false answer, so don't worry.
It can be yourself.
Yeah, it can be me.
It can be Kiala, it can be Truthman.
That's it. Oh, you can be Zen1 actually. All right.
So don't forget, guys, we're gonna be the next live we will be doing is the RaspberryPi World Tour starting June 6th here in Taipei at 10 a.m. So that's gonna be 10 p.m. Eastern time on Friday evening for the guys in the US. That's gonna be like 3 a.m. For the European guys. But don't worry, we'll be doing 12 hours of lives every day. So if you live in the US, like everywhere in the world, you will have time to catch up on what's going on. There's going to be giveaway. There's going to be like a lot of interviews, a lot of insight, a lot of special stuff coming on. I don't want to say everything.
Stuff about Computex to talk more about, so it's going to be also more interesting in that regard.
So everything we did speak today, we will have a complete debrief.
So today was all speculation, and next week we confirm.
We're going to have proof.
That's it.
So this is the OC show. When is the next one?
So the next one is gonna be for the live it's gonna be in 2 weeks, but for the next OC show we're gonna actually shoot it next Monday after the World Tour event. So it's gonna be released Wednesday after that, probably a few days after, as usual.
So we can expect in 10 days to have like one new OC show on YouTube.
And be focused probably on what we talked today, and
And 2 weeks from now, we're gonna have the live Q&A. This is the show. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget, if you're watching that on Twitch, subscribe. Actually, follow us on the Twitch. Yeah, it's called follow on Twitch. If you're watching that on Twitch, follow us, please. That way we will receive the email when we go live next weekend. And you can find us on YouTube. You can even watch this replay of the video on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/OverClocking-TV. And if you want to have a lot of inside picture or some joke during the time and some information about the hardware industry, you can also follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/OverClocking-TV. Pretty much like Twitter. Everything is like /OverClocking-TV in one word. I think you can find them like below the screen.
Not the Instagram one, but everything else,
Thank you, Tim.
Thanks,
Thank you, Sean, for being there. That was a nice thing. We're going to have a long week to work on. And we hope that you can enjoy your evening. Thank you guys for watching this video. And we hope to see you in less than 7 days from now.
Yeah.
Until then,
keep pushing it, guys.
Keep pushing it.
Keep pushing it, guys.
There it is. Where? I can't find it. No. That's over. No, not this one. No, not this one. Bye.